Hi, loves. So, Sydney Christmas Beetle, where art thou? Sydney used to have this really beautiful influx of Christmas beetles. They're about, I guess, that size, golden and pink and green in colour, really quite stunning beetles. And there used to be an abundance of them, and they just show up during this one season, and then they would disappear right after Christmas. And the way they behave is really interesting because it's as if they were kind of kamikaze beetles. Um, I had actually forgotten all about them until last night. I drove to pick Ronan up from work, and as I parked the car and I was walking into the shopping centre, one literally head-butted me. Just the one. Didn't see any others anywhere else. It was late at night. Um, and one literally just head-butted me and then just fell on the ground and just kind of did and kind of that was it. And I was like, oh my God, that's right, Christmas beetles. I hadn't seen one in ages and don't know what happened to them. So I got curious because, well, first of all, I was curious about what happened to Christmas beetles because they really are quite beautiful. They just kind of behave in a strange way. And secondly, seriously, what are the chances that there's one Christmas beetle at exactly the same time that I'm walking past into the shopping centre that like literally dunks me in the head? So I got curious. So I did some research, thinking about, synchronicity and, mm, you know, the bigger picture again, zooming out. And there was nobody else around, and there was like, you know, this Christmas beetle could have literally just found its way anywhere at any time to any other human, but right in the moment of me walking in, it's dead. Like there's no one else around. It's late. People are done with their Christmas shopping. I'm just picking Ronan up from work, and then we're leaving. And as I'm walking in, dunk. So I'm thinking, I wonder if there's something to this. So I do a little bit of research, and it turns out that Christmas beetles are activated by a series of climate, um, like when they're born, when they're reborn each season, um, they're activated by a series of climate kind of changes, so heat and a bit of humidity and all of that sort of stuff. So that's how they activate, like they come to be um, every year at around this time. But they need forest, trees, swamp, land, so some of that more tropical environment in order to actually for the young to actually be born. And it turns out that the Cumberland forests around Sydney are now down to 10% of what they used to be, which has hugely contributed to them not being as present because we've cut down all of this nature, all of these forests in order to continue to build so that we can live here. don't even start me on that. So I'm just not even going to go there. But here's the really interesting thing. The next really interesting thing then, I then Googled um, beetle as a spirit animal, like as a spiritual omen, because of course, in at ancient times, many cultures, hundreds and thousands of years ago, would um, consider the attributes of certain animals as as certain archetypes, so that when you as a human met in some sort of a way or had a synchronicity with a particular animal, their spirit and your spirit are in alignment, and there's a message in that. So I wanted to read to you. Lo and behold, of course, there's a whole massive article on on Google about what is the spiritual meaning of beetles, but more specifically, excuse me, just while I scroll. What does it mean when a beetle lands on you by free will? 10 things, that is, so I'll try and be really quick. Okay, here we go. Number one, strength and power beyond what seems possible. Many species of beetles are famous for their tremendous strength compared to their size, in comparison to other animals in the animal kingdom. This has been known by every ancient culture too, hence why beetles are a universal symbol of extraordinary strength and power. Number two, progress and change always and forever. Like many other insects, beetles are also strongly associated with change and transformation, as well as with one's life journey and progress. This is why most beetles also symbolize both change and life's essence in many cultures, including things such as resurrection, rebirth, and immortality. Number three, good luck and spiritual transformation. Good fortune is also a standard part of a beetle symbolism, especially in a spiritual sense. While many people today are freaked out by beetles as they are by other insects, traditionally finding a beetle in an unusual place meant that your fortunes will be looking up in the near future. What number are we up to? 4. 5, endurance and constitution through the harshest trials. This is really interesting because when I saw beetle, I immediately thought of an Egyptian lifetime. So this is really interesting. Probably the most obvious characteristic of beetles is just how tough they are. Essentially, the tanks of the insect kingdom, beetles' thick exoskeletons are so strong that the only predators of these insects tend to be mammals, birds, and reptiles that are large enough to nullify this powerful advantage. Needless to say, that toughness has become quite symbolic. Next, compassion and softness under a harsh outer shell, Another key characteristic of beetles that's become very symbolic throughout the ages lies in the beetles' compassion, intellect, cooperation, as well as both literal and figurative softness. In that sense, people are often said to have a beetle spirit animal if they are tough on the outside but a good-natured softy on the inside. So, add some attributes written in that article, and I thought that was really interesting. Because from the perspective of the kind of things, the kind of um, opportunities we have to create our own reality. Messages from, uh, um, sorry, let me put it this way. Our connection in nature is to nature and in nature is undeniable and also undeniably deep, essential, magical. And so, whether it be the animal kingdom or, the plant kingdom, essentially. And so, the coming together of the spirit of an animal and the spirit of human, me in this case, with a Christmas beetle, I feel is really meaningful and it's really beautiful. Now, of course, depending on which filter you have in the world and your belief system, etc., you might think of this as, fairy tales and whatever. But I like the idea that the world can be really special and magical sometimes. And I especially like the idea that there is, a deep and meaningful connection that I have with Mother Nature. So this is important to me and it makes me feel centered. It contributes to my health and well-being to know that I am part of a beautiful natural system. There's a symbiosis that happens between all the living things that I really love. And so I wanted to share that with you today. I understand this vlog is quite lengthy, actually, but I hope you can forgive me because I really wanted to share this kind of special moment with you. So on that, I'm going to love you and leave you and wish you, if I don't speak to you before then, many blessings to you and your loved ones for this festive season, for Christmas if you celebrate. May your gatherings be filled with joy and with love, and may you take a minute to notice your special connection to nature. Much love. Bye.